If you are opening a cafe, cottagecore business, or other food, beverage related business, and Square is your platform of choice, this series is for you. You may just be getting started or stuck in the middle, but the goal is to help you get over any obstacle and launch your business. By the end of this series, you will have a fully launched Square Cafe working with you, moving like a master instead of being stuck for months. In this video, we start with your Square account setup, make sense of your dashboard, set up your location, and make sure your settings are ready to build on. If this is your first time here, I'm Jess, and I help business owners understand tech to implement it into their businesses without overwhelm. I've worked with a lot of business owners through this setup, and I've completed a number of setups myself where I know the spots where people get stuck and don't complete. So let's get started. If you already started your Square setup and need something specific, you can use the timestamps in the description to find what you need. And if you are starting from the beginning or think you missed something, you can start from the beginning of this video and follow along. You can also grab the free Square Cafe setup checklist linked in the description below. It follows everything in this series, and it's worth having open alongside this video to follow along as you go through your own store so you don't miss anything. Let's get started. First, we're going to go to the Square website. You're going to always come here no matter when you're getting started. Whether it's on your phone or your desktop, this is your starting point. If you use that app, you'll still go to the Square app. You can get started through the app and the website. So we will start at sign up, and we will go to let's create your account. So first, we will start with your email. Preferably, you will want to start with a branded email. If you don't have a branded email, you could purchase one through something like name.com, where they have one through Titan email for $1.50 a month, and you could get contact@email.com or hi@yourbusinessname.com or to match your business branding. So you want to make sure that when your customers are coming in contact with your business, every touch point is your business name, including your email address. So this will be one of the first touch points that we have, which is your email. So we want to make sure that is a branded email. This is something you can update later, so don't let it change you getting started. Once we have that email in, we want to put a password that we would remember. You can always do a forgot password, but you will need to go through the two-factor authentication. So you want to make sure this is something you remember. So once you have your email and your password, you will put in your location. And we have our consent here with our Square terms, our privacy policy, and our e-sign consent. You can click and review each of these. Once you've reviewed the Square terms, privacy policy, and e-sign consent, you can check mark and click create account. Once you do that, we will hit the tell us about your business. First, we will have the business name. Then we will have the business address. If you have a mobile business or if you have a business that you don't want to have your physical address shown, you can check this here and it will block out that business address and it won't show on your receipts or your invoices. Once you have your business name and your business address in, you can hit next. Now, once you have completed that, you will be in the section where you will put in your business category. based on what you sell primarily, you want to put that in. So if you sell coffee, then you will have your coffee and tea cafe. If you sell anything such as barbecue, then you can also do counter service. If you're a caterer, a table service, food truck. So it will start to recommend those pieces for your delivery based on that sub menu of like food and drink, that subcategory of food and drink. You'll see leisure and entertainment, retail, casual use. That is what is most important because that is what will encourage the type of services that they recommend in Square for you. So if you are a cafe, you'll see that they have the food and drink. So they will have more of the food and drink items available already in your Square dashboard versus if you were to select a category under the fitness or the retail. They may be more inclined to giving you more retail items instead of food or drink. So choose the category that is best for your business. And then we will click next. At next, you will then select your annual revenue. If you're a new business, you can click not sure yet, or you can do less than in whatever range that you're in. Since this is technically a new business, we'll do I don't know yet. From there, you will open up into your new Square dashboard. Now, the first thing that you will get is your 30-day free trial of Square Plus. We don't want to do this yet. This gives you marketing and loyalty. This gives you updated website customizations, discounted pricing rates. It gives you all the upgraded pieces of Square. But if we do it now, then we aren't able to fully utilize the platform. But if we can set up more of the pieces first, then we can utilize the marketing and the loyalty later after our items are in, our menu is set up. We can use those 30 days to our fullest potential. So that is the purpose of this series, to be able to get you set up as quick as possible and as complete as possible so that you can utilize this 30-day free trial as efficiently as possible, because since Square has updated their pricing and their plans, it really is a game changer for small businesses. Only if they have their Square accounts set up correctly, they are able to have all their items in, they're able to connect their Google, they're able to start marketing, able to start providing services, providing products to their customers in this 30-day trial, not setting up their business within this 30 day, because then you start paying for the service and you haven't even gotten the basics for your business ready. So that is the goal of this series. So right now we will go not now. Now that does not take that 30 days away. You will still be able to do a 30-day trial later. But we want to get these basics of setting up our business first. So the next set is tell us about your business, where we want to go through what kind of business you are, if you're registered with the IRS, which is either you're a sole proprietorship, if you have an LLC, or if you're an S Corp, and even nonprofits utilize the Square platform, and how they will withhold taxes, or if you need to, if you don't. And that goes off of these next questions. So this tells you about your business. If you don't have an LLC set up, or you don't have a corporation, a partnership, or nonprofit, you will do the sole proprietorship, which is the business that isn't registered with the IRS. If you don't have your LLC set up yet, you can set it up as a sole proprietorship and then change to a LLC or your corporation later. You can update this in Square later. So if you do sole proprietorship, you'll see these pieces show up, which is your business name and your preferred phone number. If you do single member LLC, you'll see the employer identification number, preferred phone number. Multi-member LLC, you'll see legal business name, doing business as, preferred phone number, EIN, website, employees. Corporation is the same. Partnership is the same. And charities and nonprofits is the same. So choose what fits your business and then add your phone number. So with your phone number in and your business name in, then we will click next. You can also click finish later. This will impact how your payments are. So you want to make sure you get this fixed as soon as possible. So we'll click next. Next is to verify your mobile phone number. This is to set up two-factor authentication. This protects you to ensure that nobody is allowed to come into your Square account without your knowledge. They will need to have this verification code each time they want to log into your account. You as the owner should know who is coming in and out of your account. When you set up team members, they will not need your phone number. They will not need your owner access to get in and out of Square. As a team member, they will have their own login and they will be able to use their POS through their login and manage the pieces of Square that they are allowed through their team member permissions. So they will not need your phone number, your login information. But for you, you will need to have this verification code when you log in. And if you are notified through Square, they will ask you for the verification information. So this is what you will need to verify when you log into your account. Is that extra protection for your account, your payments, your store, your everything. So once you click send code, it will go through, send the code to your phone number. You will put it in to the list and then it will verify your phone number. After that, we now are moved into the Square checking. With Square checking, it is optional. With the way that payments are made in Square, when invoices are paid, when items are paid for, when subscriptions are paid, appointments, they all go into what is called the balance. From the balance, you can send that balance to the Square checking, or you can send it to an external bank account, which could be your business bank account or in a bank account that you set up. With the Square checking, it is a checking account in your Square that comes with its own debit card. It can also have checks, bill pay, and you are allowed to take ACH payments with your invoices, with appointments, and it's built into the Square dashboard. So all of your banking, Square checking, and Square savings will be in your Square account. You can still have Square checking and use an external bank account. So you can utilize both and have the Square checking just to have instant access. Because as soon as somebody pays your invoice or pays for a item, you can get that money right away. You can immediately start spending that money or sending that money where it needs to be. So that is the benefits of the Square checking. You can also use that external bank account to send money to your business account, and you could do same day deposits for a small fee. So choose what you would like. If you go through Square checking, you will need to put in your social security number to set up much like a bank account. So next, you'll go through and put in your identity information. They want to verify that you are who you say you are and that you are a real person. So once this is done, you are able to go into your next process. If you wanted to complete this later, you can do finish later. Once you have your identity verified, your payments are activated, as we can see here, and you are able to have your first $1,000 in sales over the next 180 days be completely covered of free processing. So having that processing fee covered by paying $1, which will show you the process of what it looks like when money hits your account and then goes through into that Square balance and then into your bank account or into that Square checking. So you end up getting your dollar right back, but it's just to show you how it looks. And then you don't get a processing fee for the first $1,000 in sales for the next 180 days. So it's a great way to start saving money on your first $1,000 in sales. Plus, with the 30 days free, you're able to utilize a lot of the tools for free, plus the $1,000 in free sales. So while this is still available, I will definitely say take advantage. So now you can go through and charge the $1, or you can skip this. For the sake of this tutorial, I will skip it. And now we are in the dashboard for Square. As you see, we can still go through and do that one last step to fee free, and it expires in 71 hours. So if I wanted to still take advantage of that, I can. Now, this is what you will see each time you come into your Square. On your POS, it will look a little different, a little bit more compact. If you wanted to look and see what that would look like, there is a video that I have already on their channel for the POS system. There will be another one in this series, but if you wanted to look at one now, there's one, and I'll put it in a card. On the left, you will see up top here your business name, the plan that you're on, and then the plans available. Once you click here, that will show you those plans, and we have the free for 30 days for both the Square Plus and the Square Premium. So you're able to see what's in each of these plans. If you pay the $1, you wouldn't pay any fees, any of the processing fees for your first $1,000 that you make on your sales. You can always get back there by clicking see plans, and that will always take you to your pricing and subscription page. You will always see the plan that you're on here, and you will see your domains here. Now, once you click here, now that we've gone through that, a little sidebar will open up on your right hand side, and it will show you are the owner. It will give you a little upgrade information. You have your account settings, feature log, roadmap, suggest the feature, cookie preferences, Square community, order, Square hardware, and your sign out. Your account settings will also be under your settings in your main menu to your left, so you can get to the account settings either way. Back at home, this main section here is where your order volumes are. It will typically show you today and your last week. You also have a quick view to your orders menu. That will always take you here, and it'll show you a list of where your orders are. Then you have your performance, which you could toggle between a date of your selection versus another day, weeks, year. Then you can have all checks, open checks, or closed checks. You're able to see an overview of your sales, your transactions, and even your tips. To your right, you'll find an overview of your banking balance, which when clicked will take you to your balance page, which will give you your overview of your banking. Below banking balance will be your quick actions. Here you'll be able to take payments, send invoice, add an item, or pay a bill. This little bar here is a search bar, which is also powered by AI. So if anytime you can't find something, or if you wanted to learn more about your store, you can type it in here, and Square would be able to look through your store and give you answers to your questions, or look through the help docs to give you answers to there. That is your main dashboard. And then if you look to your left, this is your main navigation. Everything that you need to do will be through this main navigation to your left. Here is your home page. If ever you get lost, you always come back home. This will be the place where you'll be able to move around to. It will always reset this side here, and it will always reset this home page here. So if you ever opened up something that you get to and it doesn't look right, just click home and start over. Right below home is your items and services. That is where your items, your menus, your gift cards, and subscription plans live. Each menu item has a little arrow for other toggles that has other menu items inside of it. Once you open up a menu, it will open that sub menu up for it. So if I was to go to items and services and items and then item library, in the item library, it will stay open. So I could go through this without having to open it all up. And then back home I go. Payments and invoices has our transactions, our orders, our invoices, bill pay, virtual terminal, payment links, subscriptions, disputes, risk manager. Customers has customer directory, contracts, marketing, loyalty, house accounts. Reports has sales, accounting, payments, operations, custom, and settings. Staff has team, scheduling, time tracking, payrolls, announcements, and settings. Banking has overview, balances, transfers, checking, savings, loans, credit cards, bill pay, Bitcoin. Then your setting menu has account and settings, device management, app integrations, early feature access, release notes, open tickets. Then add more has different features, channels, and online ordering. Below here, you have your notifications, your messages, your support, and your Square AI. Below this bar is your take payment, where you could quickly charge a card, send an invoice, or send a payment link. So that is your main menu. Each of these menu items over here we will be going through, but in this video, we're going to tackle our settings. For the setup of our settings, once they are together, this is pretty much the foundation of your entire Square setup. Once it is done and set up correctly, everything else sits on top of it. If something under your settings is not right, then something in the other areas will not work right. So this is where we begin. We started our account and settings. For our personal information under sign in security, first you could go ahead and verify your email. That's going to send your verification email over so that you can say, this is the right email. Once that email has been sent, you click the link. You should see a screen that says, congratulations, your email has been verified. You'll click, you'll see pending verification. If we refresh, we should see a green check. That will say it's verified. If you did not add a phone number, you can add that phone number here. That's where you will go through that two-factor authentication to add that extra protection to your account. Here is your personal POS passcode for the account. This is your personal POS code, so nobody else should have it. Once you add it, when the POS locks, you'll be able to log in with this code, and you'll click add passcode, and then you'll add it and it's saved. So that is your owner passcode. When you need to change it, you could click update. Nobody else can utilize this. Once you log in to the POS, it will show your name and the time and date that you logged in with this passcode. So that is how you track time with the Square POS. You want to set this personal POS passcode, because once you go to use your POS, you're going to run into an error that says you don't have a passcode set. So if we set it now, we'll have it for later. And when you inevitably get to the point where you may forget if you set this is where it is, the sign in and security, and there's your owner passcode. So here's your pass keys. This is in beta currently, where you can use your fingerprint, your face, or pen to where you don't have to really keep up with the password. So you could create a pass key using your mobile phone, your computer. You can create that using the device you're on. You will need the password that you set up with the account. Here is that two-step verification that we spoke about with the phone number. So you will need to add a phone number if you want to set that two-step verification up. Next is to sign out of everywhere. If you logged in somewhere and you don't remember if you logged out, this is where you could click and it'll log you out of everywhere. But it will keep you in where you're currently working, but it will log you out of everything, including mobile devices and tablets. In the security, you can add a phone number or an additional email address if there is unusual activity in your account. If you lose you lose access to your main email. These are the ways that Square will talk to you. These are ways that they will contact you if there's an issue with your account that they need to speak with you about, and they can't get in touch with you with this email and you don't have a phone number. Give them additional ways to contact you. Next is preferences. So this is your language and your time zone. Usually based on your address, they can figure it, it's pretty set. But if you didn't put an address in for a mobile address, or you didn't do the identity, then they may not have this information. So next is the business settings. So we will go to About. Here we have the display business name. That's the business name, the business owner name in your language. Here we have our branding. So this is where our branding is going to shine throughout Square. This is going to be on the receipts, invoices, booking flows, checkout screens. It's going to be on the register. It's going to be everywhere that our customers interact with our company. So we want to make sure that where they interact, it shows our brand. So we have the full logo, which we want to have at least 1280 by 648 pixels in the full logo. A small logo, which is 400 by 400 pixels. And these dimensions are also in the checklist. So you already have that, and you have the Canva doc to be able to just drag and drop your images into it so you can upload it quickly. And then there's one more item, which is the register image, which is going to want to be 2560 by 1600 pixels. And you want to make sure those are either in JPEG or PNG formats. And you want to have your hex colors, just one color. So we have we'll add our images in here. So have those in. And then if you have the hex key, you'll see it's a lot easier than dragging these around. So you'll just put your hex color in, and then next we'll hit next. And this is how those pieces fall in. So here is our receipt. We have that small logo here and our color. So here's our full logo. Here, that's our formats. So you'll set these formats when you're setting your receipt up, but this is how it would look based on the pieces that you put in. Then here's our point of sale, which are register in our mobile. So we want to add in that image. So there it is. So we have our register image and we have our mobile image. This is why we wanted the right sizes. And then we have our invoices. We have our small logo and our color there. And we have our pay page, which is our format. We want to make sure our logo looks good in each format. There we go. And then we want to click next. Then we want to select the locations that we want this branding applied to. So we want to have it applied to our cafe. If you have multiple locations, then you can select more than one location to have this branding attached to. Then we'll click publish. So now we have that branding here and we have it applied to one location. So now this is in our emails, this is in our loyalty, this is in our customer profiles, this is everywhere that we may need it to be. So we'd only have to put it in that one place now. Under branding, we have our transfer business, which if we wanted to transfer this business to somebody else, you can do that here, and then deactivate your business is here. Next, under my business is security. Here's that two-step verification for team members at the AHQ Cafe, which you can do, but you need to have your verification set first. But this will make your team members have it set for them too. They will be able to have it set with their phone number also for their own accounts. Next, for authorized representatives, they are allowed to contact customer support on your behalf. This is perfect for managers or tech support who are allowed to contact Square on your behalf. Then you have team permissions here. They're allowed to do certain things with your accounts, be able to access certain things in your account. These permissions give those team members those permissions. So here's your permissions, and then there's a team passcode. Then here's your locations. If you needed to have multiple locations, you will be able to just click create location, and that will take you to location details. You'll just add in the information for that location. That is simply how to create a new location, and you can share the information from one location to another one. You can share menu items, you can share items, services, appointments. You could copy it straight over. So here is our current location that we have. So we click edit. We have our business name, our nickname. We can set our business description. You can utilize Claude, ChatGPT to create optimized business descriptions for your business, because these not only work to describe your business, but they work with Google to have them appear in the search engine. So we have our physical location. Here you can also have your mobile location. You have our address. You have your email, your phone, your website, your social platforms. Here's our branding, business hours with our time zone. You can have your regular business hours here. So if I put those times in, so I have them, and I wanted to add a split time like from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and then have that split time 12 p.m. to 5. I could just click add times and have 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. And that will set the times. Then here's your bank information. You have your transfer account, then you could do transfer tag. So this will have your bank account that you would like this location money to go to. And then you can set a tag to tag the transfers with. And then your preferred language, and then we will click save. And then I will use my fake address. And then now you'll see that my hours are set, and here is my split hours for Saturday and Sunday. So that is how you set locations. So as we looked at before, next in line is pricings and subscriptions. This is where you will always come for your subscriptions. You'll also be able to see your processing fees. And if you sell CBD items, you'll be able to apply to sell CBD items here. Next is your domains. For you to add domains, you'll be able to see your list here. but you will do the addition of your domains in the Square Online, which we will go over in this series also. After pricing and subscriptions is your payments. In payments, we have your receipts, which as you see, we have that brand already set. So we can see we have the receipt to the left. We have our brand items in. Our logos are converted to black and white. So you have your logo here. This one be pretty good black and white. You won't want to have any background imagery because it may not print well unless it's already in black and white. So you can customize how your receipt will look. You can show a description, show item notes, show savings, card level, discounts. Your business name would be grayed out because you can't change it here. You can show your location or you can turn it off. Your phone number, all of your social links are here. So as you add them, your icons will show up here, and then you can add your return policy in any custom text. You can also shut off the referral banner, and you'll get a real view look at what your receipts will look like. They will get them digitally on their phone, so they'll be able to click your social media links. They will be able to click any marketing that is on your receipt. So as we get into the marketing aspect of this in the loyalty piece, they will be able to click and go to some of the ads that you may have on your receipt. So once you have this set to how you would like it, you can click save. I'll fix my Instagram name. I'll click save. Under receipts, we have sales tax. If you take sales tax, you will click sales tax. You can do same tax rate for all items or different rates for our different items. Click next and then choose your items. So you have physical goods, prepared food and beverage, services, or none of the above. Because you're food and beverage, this may be the best way to go. And then you can have your sales tax name and then your tax rate. And then you can have it as an additive tax or an inclusive tax, and then click finish. So that's how you add your sales tax, and that will be added to each of your items in your receipt. You can turn off sales taxes per items also in your items menu, which we will go over in this series also. So next is service charges. So you have service charges up top that can be applied at checkout, and then you have automatic credit card surcharges, which is currently in beta, so it could stick around, it could not stick around, but you can learn more about them here. So here to create a service charge, you'll click here, click name. You can do a percentage, an amount, or variable amount. Have your location set if you want the sales tax added. And then you can apply the items. Since we have no items yet, we won't see anything here, and then we can save. You can add them as you add your items in. You're able to add the service charge to them in as you create them. So they have a note up here where you can add shipping fees, bag fees, or pass-through fees to help with operational costs. And then for the automatic credit card surcharge, you can do that. You do a percentage of sales. So you do 2%. And then there's a note here that says, I confirm that I will comply with all applicable local and state credit card surcharging laws. I have notified MasterCard of my intent to surcharge by submitting the required form at least 30 days before enabling this feature. Furthermore, I understand and accept the associated risk and limitations described below. So with that, let's click this notify. Okay, at this time, MasterCard is presently no longer requiring that the U.S. merchants register their intent to surcharge credit cards in this U.S. on the site. Okay, there we go. So we don't have to register your intent to surcharge at this moment. Now you will want to review this later if this is something you want to keep in your business, because when this changes, then you want to make sure that you're in compliance. So we'll check and we could click next. So here's your surcharge notice that they have made available for you that you can print and have set, and then click done. So now there's your surcharge. You have 2%. And then if you needed to print the notice again, you could do that here. Next is payment methods. You have standard payment methods and you have custom payment methods. If you wanted to have Afterpay set is already active on your account, you can edit the setting here and it is available for your online and in-person sales. It is based on your customer selecting Afterpay and not necessarily on you only offering Afterpay. It is an option for them. If you are doing in-house, if you're doing vendor shows, or if you have people coming to your in-home cafe or pickup stand, the tap to pay on iPhone may be an option for you that you may need. If you're not looking to utilize hardware right now, you can set that up on your phone here. So that is the payment method that you can set up. Then we have custom payment methods. So Uber Eats, DoorDash, you'll be able to set that up and then activate it. So it's payments outside of Square. Next is check settlement. So you want checks to settle, and that allows staff to add the tips. So end of the reporting day, end of the working day, 36 hours after the check opened. Each one has its own set. So settled at 11:59. Once your reporting day ends, tips must be added by that time. Opening tabs settle when finalized. End of working day, which settle at 1:30 a.m. or 1 hour, 30 minutes after close. Tips must be added at that time. Open tabs settle when finalized or 36 hours after check open. And then here's your schedule. So if you closed at 7 o'clock, your staff needs to add tips to the checks by 8:30 p.m. So this is based on what you require for your staff and what you want for your reporting. So once you choose which one you want, you choose it and you'll click save. The default is by the end of the working day. So here's your time schedules table down here based on the opening hours that you set. So next is your banking. So here's your banking accounts. So here we have our Square checking, where you can get your Square checking set up, get your Square debit card. Then you have your all locations. Here's our automatic add an external bank account, where you can link your bank. And once again, they give you an option to add the Square checking. Square checking, they're going to open it here to sign up in 2 minutes, no complex forms. Use your debit card and account numbers to pay bills. Get started here. You're going to take you through that two-factor authentication and go through that again. So if you already did it, then you're good. If not, you still need to do that in order to create your account. So here, to link your bank, you'll go through an authentication app or a voice and text message. And then you'll add, just to say that this is your account, you're making these changes, and then add your routing number and your account number. And that will link your account to your bank account. Or if you chose the Square checking, you will have your bank account set up and your savings account set up if you choose to have that, and it will automatically be here in your Square dashboard. Next is transfers. Under the banking, you can set up your debit card to do instant transfers, and then here you can link that bank account for instant transfers also. You can set up to do an automatic transfer schedule based on what you want, based on 1 to 2 business days, same day, or custom speed. Or you can do a manual schedule where you come and transfer the money until when you want it to. By default, your close of date is 7 o'clock p.m. and your time zone. Square will automatically transfer your funds the next business day at this automatic set. So here you'll see the schedule for your transfer speed. Everything's kind of grayed out because I don't have a debit card set and I don't have a bank account. So there's nowhere for this money to go. But you'll be able to see your calendar for when that money is supposed to hit your account based on what you've chosen. So if you have that debit card linked, you're able to get those instant transfers or your bank account for those standard transfers. If you have the weekend balance set, they keep Friday sales in your balance over the weekend. If you want them, they're sent out Friday night. Next is notifications. Here you can choose what notifications you want to get from Square. Daily sales summaries, monthly and annual sales summaries, product updates, programs and events, new to Square, government programs, Square loans, inventory alerts, Square marketing, per payment for every completed transaction, per refund, or per transfer. Per payment is unchecked by default. You can turn it on if you like. You will get an email for every transaction you receive. And this will go to your account email, not a staff email. So keep that in mind. Next, service disruptions. If at any time there is an issue with Square, you will only get alerts for the products that you use. If you don't use Square Appointments and there's an error with Square Appointments, you won't receive anything. But if you use Square POS and something goes wrong with Square POS, you will get a notification. But you will get a notification if you put the information here. Have your email address here. Have your phone number here, and then have your in-app notifications and your push notifications set. That way you're getting them on your mobile app, you're getting them on your POS, you're getting them in your phone, and you're getting them in your email. That is the best way to receive what is going on with your business tech as soon as it is happening. We live in a day and age where technology can go down, may go down. And there's a setting here in the POS that would allow you to still take orders even if your POS goes offline. So you don't have to worry about that with Square. You'll still be able to take orders and run payments with your Square POS. I covered that in the POS video that I did also. So set up these notifications to protect you and protect your business. Next is invoicing. Even if you don't do invoicing, make sure these are on, because one day you may get a wholesale order and you're going to wish that you set up these invoices. Remember, these settings are for the foundation things that you don't know you needed and they need to be ready. So disputes. If at any time you receive an order and a customer disputes what they paid, you want to receive the notifications of that, the statuses, and the summaries. These are turned on automatically, which are here and here, even for your employees who have the permissions for disputes, which could be your managers or the account managers also. Under disputes are tax forms. This is your taxpayer information that you could add here, which is going to be your name, your social security number, your EINs, your addresses. If you already set up your EINs during the setup, that information would have already been in. These 1099s will be listed here when the end of the year comes. CCPA here is for your data protection obligations. So here, if you receive a buyer's request to be removed or updated or accessed, opted out, exported from your account, you can do that by fulfilling and then choosing what they want and then the customer's name and downloading the report for them. This by law is something that you need to have available, and Square makes that available here. So for our point of sale fulfillment methods, these are the ways your customers can order. This does not include your online ordering. So for our fulfillment methods, we have our in-store dine-in, we have pickup, and we have delivery. So if you don't use in-store dine-in, then we don't need that. If we have pickup and delivery, then you can utilize those. So you'll choose which ones you do utilize, and that will add to the rest of the square. So we'll do all of them for the sake of this tutorial. So you want to match the display text to the order type. That way the order matches based on what the order type is, because the display text will be displayed on the POS, the printed tickets, the kitchen display center, and the reports. So here, this toggle is the order tracking for the fulfillment method. So you can track it from the POS and send text messages when the orders are ready. So since this is a dine-in, we may not want to have that toggle on because we'll have the customer name and identifiers. We may say their name, or we may call their number, or they may be another way to identify them. We may not do their phone number. So this is based on what your preference is when it comes to your managing your orders. For pickup, we'll do that. And then we'll do delivery, save. So now we have our point of sale fulfillment methods. So these will now be listed in our POS. Next, we will have online pickup and delivery. So that was our POS. Now we have our online settings that we want to have when somebody picks up, when somebody goes through our online environment. So this we're going to set up with our Square Online after our items are set up. Next is shipments. So if you aren't shipping any items, you won't need to set up any labels or anything. You can leave your shipments clear if you don't plan on shipping anything through your Square setup, or if you choose to use a provider with external shipping to get shipping labels at a discounted rate through an app. You leave the shipments separate. Then next is your non-physical, which would be digital, donation tickets, event tickets, and other. Each one just has availability to allow them to be purchased either worldwide or within select countries. Next is order tickets. So we have our location, which if you have multiple, you'll be able to choose from each one. And then the maximum number of tickets you can have that before it can restart to 1. You can also set it to reset ticket numbers each day here. Based on the time we have set in our business, since we open up at 8 o'clock, our ticket numbers would reset at 7:45, which then it will start over at 1. So you click save, and that will have our ticket number assignments. Next is Square hardware. If you needed to order any Square hardware, this is where you will find it. There's the Square registers, Square handhelds, terminals, Square stands, contact readers, and iPass kiosk. You are able to order a Square reader for free. Your first reader is free, a Lightning USB-C or headphone jack, and it plugs into your phone where you can start taking payments right away. You can also take payments through the Apple Pay on iPhone, and you can take payments through your terminal. You can also purchase hardware kits from Square. Next, under Square hardware is My Orders. So if you do order Square hardware, you'll be able to see your list of your orders here. After that is your information request. So any request regarding information in your Square for a review will be listed here. Then your get free processing review would be here. So you could do a referral code for other Square accounts. Then device management. Devices that are attached to your Square account will always be here. You can add a device. Then you have profiles, which is your printer profiles for your systems. For printing receipts, order tickets, or labels, each time you add a printer profile in, you'll have to choose what it will print. So you could do receipts. If it's automatically, you can print receipts for declined payments, how many copies you want to do. If for in-person order tickets, you can print them for prep stations. They will print automatically after checkout. Categories to print. As we add the products to your store, the categories will be listed here. So as long as you have select all here, all the items that you add to your store will be here. So we have those. You can do a single item per ticket, which will print little mini tickets for each item. So if you wanted to print in a long receipt, uncheck this. You can also remove the top margin. You can print kitchen names, combine identical items. You can do a classic ticket layout or a compact, do a font size, a small, medium, or large, and you can do a sort order of category, alphabetical, or default, and you can choose the number of copies that you would like for that. You can also do online and kiosk order tickets for all your categories. You can also select the single item per ticket, remove the top margin, print new orders, automatically print in progress orders, print kitchen names, combine identical items. Medium default order you can have set, do your number of copies, and you have order ticket stubs. Give customers a stub of their order. Order tickets only print after an in-person order ticket is printed. So that is here. These are your in-person order tickets here. So after this prints, then it will print your order ticket stub to give to your customer. You can also print tickets, void tickets, and you can print barcode labels from your printer. And you could have your store location here. And then we can have our profile name. So if we have front of house, then we know this printer will print everything. And that one will be sent to, that will be the one to be able to factor through everything. If we wanted to do just a kitchen printer, then we could do this. We have all our items, print, have that one print, remove the top margin, compact, category, and then we won't print any tickets. We won't do barcode label, and then we will select our location, and then we will have our kitchen printer there. Then when we have our printer set in our kitchen, we will go to our devices, have our device when we print in, when we plug in that printer and it is set to our Square account, our POS system. In our POS system, we will set that printer profile to the kitchen printer. So that will only print the tickets that is in our kitchen printer. Same for our front of house. The printer that is set at our front of house, we will have that print our receipts and our in-person order tickets and our barcode labels. So then next we have our device codes, which you can create and hit next, and you can do a point of sale, or if you're going to do a kiosk, you can do that and hit next. So from here, it's going to ask you the type of POS you're going to be using. So if it's standard, it's going to be very flexible in what you use. You also have quick service, which is for quick order entry and multi-channel menus, open checks, coursing, floor plans under the full service bar, drive-through, retail, bookings, and service. So your drive-through is going to be set for a drive-through window. So if you're not using it for drive-through, it's probably not going to be the best for you. So quick service or full service may be best, or you can do your standard, which makes it very flexible in what you're doing. And do front of house, and then I'll click next. So then I could create. It'll create my device code and I can export Excel. So now I have it, and then I have everything is unpaired. And when I go to have that POS, I will connect it to my account codes. Then I have my modes, which I have my front of house mode. And if I need to edit the mode name, I could do that here. I could duplicate it and I could delete it. Here, if I wanted to use kiosk, I can do it for 30 days with the Square Plus, which would allow me to set up a kiosk in my location and utilize it for those orders. This is where I will manage my kiosk. Next, app integrations, which when visiting the Square app, you're able to connect different tools to your Square store, including with delivery, DoorDash, Uber Eats, ShipStation, Grubhub. You can sell different ordering apps through it, like Send Out. You could do digital products through there. So you're able to expand what you sell and how you sell through the App Store. This is completely optional. You don't have to utilize it. So next is early feature access. So these are things that are available to you based on what is coming to the Square app. So this early feature access is cash rounding. It would require you to use 6.9 version of the Square POS app, where it automatically rounds cash payments to the nearest 5 cents. Card and digital payments are not affected. You could view the details, and it usually has a little video here on how to implement it. You can install it and it will go to your POS that is attached to your store. These are also completely optional. Under early feature access is release notes. So here is what's new in Square. So here's June 4th's updates of Square 3.50 APY on these Square checking account, savings account. So this auto installs June 11, and everything that's in this bundle is now updated here. So we have allergy and dietary preferences, which we will cover in this series. Apply a portion of daily sales towards your Square credit card balance. Turn Bitcoin payments on or off from the register display. Accept Bitcoin tap to pay on register. Hide sold out modifier options from checkout automatically. Drag to move or merge checks on the floor plan. Set fulfillment rules per item. Route item categories to the right printer. New ones follow automatically. Attach receipts and notes to Square debit card transactions and earn more as your Square savings balance grows. So they will always give you some type of release notes so you know what is coming new with the Square platform, what they're working on, what logs they've updated, because some things they will update and you may not know yet. Some things they're working on, they're in beta, so they like to keep you updated on that also. Next is open tickets. So this is open tickets. It's moving to the order manager. So this will end up being removed from your menu, and it will update and it will go through, and if we refresh, it will go through and show you a status, one of one updates. So in your order manager now, you will see that has been moved. So that we'll go over the order tickets when we get to that session. So now under add more, you'll see 3 different options. So inventory, bookings, and restaurants. Inventory is typically for retail stores. Bookings is typically for appointment booking software. And then we have restaurants, which is your multi-channel menus, card pre-authorization, more reporting options. If you were retail, this is what you will typically need in a retail setting. For a service-based business, this is what you would typically need for a appointment setting type of business. So for your restaurant, you're going to click add. And this is going to update your Square. and add those additional features to your store. So here's going to align your point of sale. They've added more to your dashboard, and now it's going to have a little bit more features like your menus, some more inventory, and add what you need to utilize even more for your restaurant. So now when you go to add more and you see restaurants, you'll see added. Now, after that, you have channels. In your channels, we'll go over this a little bit more once we get to your Square Online, but this is where you have your Google Business Profile. If you didn't know, you're able to connect your Square dashboard with DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub. And when you click connect, you're able to integrate your store with DoorDash. You're able to get on board in like less than 5 minutes. And you just need to have your menu with your items that you want on DoorDash, and you need to have your items with your pricing. And typically, most of the other integrations are the same. There's no cost on the side of Square. There's going to be some fees that comes with the other platforms, but there's no fee with Square, and you can see the information here for each integration. So it's going to make it a lot easier to list your business and manage it. As you see, this is where everything is. So you'll be able to list your business on Meta, on Grubhub, Uber Eats, DoorDash, and even Google Business. And we'll have that online ordering set up, which the last section is online ordering. That sets up your cash tag for Cash App neighborhoods that list your business on Cash App, where your loyalty points will be able to be set. And if you look, our brand, colors, and everything will be added here. Once we go through, we'll be able to set our pickup and delivery, QR code ordering, and have our online ordering set up. Your Square account is set up. Now it's time to create your items in your menu. Most people open up Square's item library and immediately start adding items, then spend the next 2 hours backtracking what they did. There is a specific order that makes it go quickly and efficiently. We will go through categories, items, modifiers, and options, including how to import items to make it faster to get the items into your Square account without doing it item by item. If you're coming from day one, your Square account is already set up and your location is configured. We're ready to build onto that today. If you're jumping in here for the first time, the day one link and the full series playlist are both in the description below. You can go back to anything you need. If this is your first time, I'm Jess, and I'm a certified Square expert, and I help business owners understand tech to implement it into their businesses without overwhelm. I've worked with a lot of business owners through this setup and have completed a number of setups myself, so I know firsthand where people get stuck. If you have already started your Square setup and need something particular, you can use the time steps in the description to find what you need. And if you are starting from the beginning or think you missed something, you can start from video 1 and follow along. You can also grab the free Square setup checklist linked in the description below. It follows everything in this series each day, and it's worth having opened alongside these videos to follow along as you go through setting up your own store. So back in our Square dashboard, we will go to items and services. In your items and services, you'll see items, menus, inventory management, order guide, gift cards, and subscription plans. We're going to start in items and items library. Here in your item library, you'll see it's a blank slate. Now, your first thing you'll want to do is to start creating items. But first, we're going to go and create our categories. This will be what all of our items live inside of. Square Because we put our business as a food and beverage, they already gave us categories here. So if we open one, we can see there's a category name. It's a parent category. There's items. And then it shows on the point of sale, which I could toggle on and toggle off. And then there's items. The actions is I could duplicate it and I could delete it. So if any of these don't apply, I can just check, and here to the right, I can click actions and delete categories. Now here, I can create a category, and let's create a breakfast category to go under food. So this will create a subcategory for our food category, and we'll create a lunch to our food category. So now our food has breakfast and lunch. Then we will add a category for hot drinks, and we'll want this category to appear in our point of sale. So we'll click save, and we'll also do ice drinks, save, and then we'll do one other category, which will be pastries, save. So here we have all of our categories. So now when we create items, all of our items will be nested into a category. These categories will also be used in our menus. So everything builds on top of something else. Now in your categories to your right, you do have rearrange. Now how your categories are listed here is how they will also look on your POS. So you can rearrange them like this, because this is how it will show up in your POS. So you want to make it easier for you and your team members to quickly get to what you need. You can look at it in a list view and in a hierarchy view, which shows your drop down for your subcategories. So here we go. So here are your categories, and you can add images to each of these categories, which you'll see here. So if I wanted to add some images, I will just go into the drinks and I can drag and drop an image right in here, or I can browse the image library and upload right here. Now with those images in, you'll see that image right here in those icons. So now all of our categories are completed and saved, and this will show up on our point of sale. Now where some people get confused when creating these next set of items is the modifiers and the options. Your modifiers are add-ons. They are things that get added to an item at the time of sale without creating a new version. So that's like your type of milk, that's your syrups. They're optional. They can be like an extra shot of espresso. They'll show up when they're ordering. A option is like a variation, a small, medium, or large. So those are the differences between those. Both of them really wouldn't change. So once they're in, they're kind of broadly across both. So our options, if we were to add them in, and we have cup size, and we do small, medium, large, then we have that cup size in there for our options. And then if we do our modifier, here we have a pre-existing modifier set. So Square gave us a temperature. This is for more meat in a way, but your modifier is rare, medium, well done. Each one has a customization for the kitchen display, which you can choose a color and have a name. Then it has a price. You can pre-select it. and select its availability. Then with the selection rules, you can require it to be selected when ordering, and you can also allow for more than one modifier to be selected. You can show or hide modifiers on a customer's receipt. You can use conversational modifiers on POS, like add extra no. And you can sort sold out modifiers last during checkout on POS, which is a toggle here. You can add your locations and your channels here. As you add more channels, they will be available here, including your ordering profile. So that is what the difference is between a modifier set and a options. So because we don't need the temperature, you can delete it and delete the modifier, and I'll give you a brand new screen. So when it comes to a cafe, one of the modifiers that we will have is milk options. So you can have it as a list modifier or a text modifier. The list, they will be able to make a selection of choices, or a text by typing it into a text box. It is only available on websites, kiosks, order profiles, or payment links. Of course, when they come to your register and ask, your team member or you will be responsible in asking if they will like the type of milk they would like and putting that in. As a list modifier, it's already there and you can just select it. So we have our location, we have our channels, and because we have our ordering profile here and we have our point of sale, so we're already going to be set up for once we turn our ordering profile on. And then we have our modifier list. So we can start with the whole milk. We can add the oat milk. We can add almond milk. We can add soy milk and coconut milk. So we have those. We have our options. And then if there is an upcharge for these, you will want to add them in here. So if there's a charge for them, you have them there. You can customize how they look on the kitchen display. If you don't use the kitchen display, you don't have to utilize that. You can edit it later if you choose to have a kitchen display. But if you print tickets, it's going to print in black and white anyway. You can hide these options. You can hide an option online. You can update this via your POS at a later time if something is out of stock. You can also pre-select something. So if you typically make all of your drinks with whole milk, you could pre-select the whole milk option. And when they go to order, they can change to another option during the ordering process. Or you can make it to where they have to choose the milk that they want. Then you have your availability, and then you're able to delete the options that you added. Now, in the selection rules, you can require a selection. You can also allow for more than one modifier to be selected. Now here, if you only want them to choose one milk, then you have to have a maximum of one. If you want them to have multiple, they can do like multiple syrups. They can have up to 3 syrups. Then you give them a range. If they can only do the one, then you give them that minimum. Then next, you can hide the modifiers on the customer receipts, use the conversational modifiers, or sort sold out modifiers last during checkout on the POS. So that will allow them to be at the end of the list instead of in where they are. So if they're out of stock, they'll show up. If oat milk's out of stock, it won't show up as a second option. It'll show up underneath coconut milk. That's what that is for. So then once we save, we now have that milk options modifier, and we're able to apply it to items as we add them. So now our milk's already in. We can add a modifier for sweetness, regular sweetness, light sweetness, sweet. So now I have my sweetness, I have espresso, and I have iced coffee add-ons. So I want my milk options on top, I want my sweetness, my espresso and iced coffee, and then how these are added, I can change how I want them to lay. So from the POS to the ordering screen, how it looks here is how it will look for your customers. So when you add new options, you want to make sure that they're in an order that makes sense, because that's how they will see them. Now, these won't be for every option, but for the items that they're on, that's how they'll lay. So now with our modifiers set and our options set for our cup sizes, next we'll create an item. So we have an item and we're going to tell Square what we serve. So we're going to have a bakery coffee shop. We could do next, and we do beverages, ice drinks, and espresso drinks. And it's going to give us a list. So we could say what we make and we could click next. You can uncheck. This kind of makes it easier for when you're creating. You can go through, if those are some of the things that you do, then these are products that you no longer have to create by scratch. So you can come in, let's go to Americano. We have our item type. It's available. We can also mark it sold out, hot and iced. We have our kitchen name. We have a customer facing description. We have our images here. Our sales tax is already added. Here's our nutritional information with calories, dietary preferences, and food allergies. Here's our variations of our hot and our iced. American espresso, there's single shot, double shot, triple shot. This is a modifier that it added. Custom attributions, and then our managed checkout. Options here where we could sell as a pre-order, skip item details, and then fulfill item prep time, which tells our system how long it takes us to prepare this item. You can use item default, and if the item contains alcohol. To our right, we have our status, our categories. Then we have our menus, our location, our channels, and our add a channel here, which will be here. So with these pre-made options, we've now have pre-made categories, which then gives us pre-made options, which gives us pre-made modifiers. So here you are. So that's what happens when you do the pre-made versus going in and do it yourself. So when you add this in, you end up with a lot of clutter. It's okay for you to go in and remove what you don't want. You'll just simply come in and delete. Now, with entering your items, there's two ways to do it. Creating an item one by one, which I recommend doing at least one. Once your modifiers, your options are in, doing the second way, which is importing a spreadsheet in, is a little easier when you have your options and modifiers in and you have an item already in. Because once you download the template, you don't have any items in. So to get a blank import template, we'll do that first, which I'm uploading it right into Google Sheets. Okay, this is what you get when you put it in with a blank sheet straight from Squarespace. Now they do add in some item information up top, but now that we have our options in, here's our options. So we have sizes and our option value, how many we have, and then here's our modifiers, our add-ons. So with the spreadsheet now, since we put our options and our modifiers in now, we have all the information we need in here now. So now with the pieces in from our modifier sets, they're already in here. So we have our modifier set for add-ons, our espresso, our milk options, and our sweetness. But if we were to export it with a product in here, we'll be able to see even better how this would lay out. So let's create an item. Let's click an item, and we'll do create items manually. Once we do that, you will click prepared food and beverage for your item type and click next. From here, we'll be brought to our create an item dashboard. On the left-hand side is where all of your details will go. On your right is more of your organization of your items. First, we have our item type where you can change from prepared food, your physical good, your events tickets, your donations, your digital tickets, and other. So back to our prepared food and beverage, we have our name, our kitchen name, price. You can add a unit cost to see margins, customer facing description, which means your customer will see the description that you put in the box here. You can put images here. Your sales tax are here. If you click edit, you can click that this item is not taxable here. Here's your nutritional information, including your allergens. Here's your location. It is available here. We can also mark it as sold out and reset it in 30 minutes, an hour, today at a later time, tomorrow, or a custom time. You can also track by availability or track by stock count. For variations, you can add variations or add option sets. So your variations would be the sizes, the price. There's your online sales price, SKU, low stock, and your shipping weight. And then our option sets are the reusable pieces. There's our modifiers, which we've already added. Bundles, which you can sell goods through your library as bundles, which when you see the star is a square plus feature. Custom attributes, which are here, which you can use to create a new custom attribute. And then manage checkout. You can make payment links. You can block this product from being purchased on its own. Skip the item detail screen when it's being added to the cart. Sell as a pre-order. And for failed orders, you can set the item prep time, which you can use a default, or you can do the item prep time for this specific product. If the item contains alcohol, you can toggle that on or off. And then if you're shipping this product, what its weight is. On the right, you have your status of this product, which your sold out is there too. The categories of this, menus, locations, your channels, for your items. So for this, we'll put in the information for an espresso. So when adding the variations and the option sets for the cup size that we created, you'll see we have our small, medium, and large. And when you click next, you can unselect those sizes that you don't want for the product. And you could click save, add your photos, and your amount. For your online sales price, if you are putting this product for sale, like cheaper than what the actual price is, that's what you'll put here. That is the crossed out version that you see on most websites. There's the SKU, low stock alert, and the shipping weight. Then we'll click done, and then we'll click save. So it'll say add this item to a menu. You could fix issues. So here we have a generated one, but we'll click save without adding it to a menu first because it generated one. So now we have the espresso with a small and a medium. Now if we click it, we can come in and edit it. We have our cost. We have our espresso and our milk option saved, and we could click save. So there's our options now here. Now that we have a product in our store, if we go to our actions and export library, we'll do all items since we only have one item in, and export. This will give us a list of the products in our store, and we're going to add that to Google Sheets. Now, here's our new sheet. So we have our espresso in a small and in a medium. We have a description. We have it in the category of hot drinks. Is it prepared food? There is no weight. There's the prices. It's not archived. It does not contain alcohol. Not stockable. We have our cup size here. That's our options name. We have our option value 1 here, which our options is the sizes of the cups. We have our modifier set here. We make this smaller. All of these you can change and update in your Square store afterwards, but these repeatable things you can update now. So in adding new drinks or new foods, if I wanted to make the sandwiches, I can place the item name here. If I have a bagel, do 2 lines for the bagel, or I would do 1 flavor there and 1 there. Then I will have a description. I know this isn't going to change. I'm going to put my price here. I also know that this isn't going to change because it's to archive it and I want it public. It doesn't contain alcohol. I'm going to come back and do these two. Food, bacon sandwich. There's no variations for these. Biggest things about these spreadsheets is to make sure you are on the right line. Because if you start editing things that are not the right line, you'll end up messing up what you're doing and having to redo it. So now since I'm going to add in the food, none of the foods need the add-in modifier. They also don't need, and I want to keep this capitalized, they don't need the milk modifiers, and they don't need the sweetness modifier. So, and we don't need any of the options here. So you'll help start to use the matchup of what's already there versus what the blank slate gave us. So now I will want to export this as a CSV, which I'll download. And then we're going to go back to the Square dashboard. And in the Square dashboard, we will click Import Library. And then we will add that CSV here. Once we add it in, we'll click Next. And we will be able to look at all the items that we added in. Now, before we move them, this is our point to be able to review. So we have our espresso, which we've already have in there. But if we wanted to add any updates or if there was anything that we missed or maybe we put in the wrong spot, this is the time where we will go through and update it. So we have our description. We have our categories for our food. We have our item type. We have our price. It's not archived. No, it does not contain alcohol. We don't want to add it to the check. No option names. When we want no modifiers added. So then we will click Add to Library. And then you have 2 options. You can add and update the existing library, or you can delete and overwrite your existing library. So add and update means it will add the new ones to your import, and any existing ones that had a reference code or something in those two first columns, it will update those items. Or if you choose this, it will delete your entire library and only add what you're uploading in. So we want to add an update and click continue. And then it will go through and import the items. Because we didn't have many, the 5 items will be updated correctly. So then we will update, then we will refresh. Now we could download the error report and look and see, but it looks like I could look and see exactly what's wrong. And it was that bagel. The customer facing name was wrong. So when you end up having an error on your sheet, this is what the sheet will look like. And you'll be able to see exactly what's wrong with the error. So the errors for each row are listed in the final column. So the items was the bagel. And based on this, which I already know what the error is, this is the error here. An item and its variations must have the same customer-facing name. So because this has plain bagel and this has blueberry bagel, they can't be connected to the same product. So you will simply erase these in your import sheet, and those variations can go through and be connected to that product. So that is how you'll diagnose your errors on your import sheet. Now, sometimes it might be a lot more errors than that, but that's why you want to work with a smaller set of data, and you want to pull with at least 1 or 2 products in there that have what you need for your full amount. Putting it in the order that we did allowed us to have the options that we needed. We didn't have to worry about having any modifiers. The modifiers were already in, our options were already in. So we didn't have to worry about adding those. They were already there. Simple error here. This is how you diagnose and figure out what's wrong and how to fix it. So if I was to take that same sheet, update those customer-facing errors here, then I can import this file and it will be fine for the bagel. So looking at the products, if I open the egg salad, I have the food and I have the subcategories here. So I want to add it to my breakfast there. I can also remove the food and just have it under my breakfast. If I want to have it food and breakfast, I can have the breakfast as the main category, which will report it under breakfast and not under the food, which would allow me to see the difference between my breakfast food in the reporting and the lunch food in my main reporting. So that's the only difference there. You could still have it listed in both, but your reporting will be attributed to the category sales report. So you want to make sure that selecting that first category comes first and who you want it reported in. Because when you look at your sales and you look at the products that are how they're performing, you want to see which category and then which items and how they're performing. So that breakfast is the one we want to look at, since it is a subcategory, and then we still have our food category, which would allow us to separate it in our menus also, which I'll also show you. So we have all of our information here, but this is an egg salad. So we will need to add in our food allergens of our egg. Some people use milk in their eggs, and that will add our food allergens there. So we can save that. And now those items will show up on our menu in our online ordering. So now let's go to our menus. We did have this one, which we can review, and you can see how they were added for the generated products that we had. But if you ever make one and you make too many, you can always come in and delete it. And now we have a brand new menu for us. So we can create our first menu. From here, you can use your existing categories, upload a file or photo of your existing menu, import your menu from another platform, create a menu from generated items, or start from scratch. Since we've already put our categories in, we will do from our category. We'll start with our lunch menu. From here, we have our hot drinks, our food, and we'll click next. So it has it where our location is set, which if you have multiple, you'll be able to click edit. And then we have our channels. So we can select to have our channel set. And then we have our hours. Since this is our lunch menu, we can set to have it start at a certain time. So we can have our lunch start at 11 o'clock till close. So once you have your lunch menu set, you can click done. So you have a certain time where this menu is going to be shown, and you click save. So now we have our lunch menu set. So we have our hot drinks, which is our espresso. We have our food, which is here. So in our lunch menu, then if we wanted to create a breakfast menu, click next. And then we can have our days and give it a little buffer. Actually get the orders out. So, because once your lunch menu kicks in, it's automatic. It's nothing that you have to do. So we have that. So we have our lunch menu every day from 11 to 5. Because in my time, it's 5:30. So technically, lunch is over. And we have our breakfast menu. And we have our lunch menu. And then if I wanted to do just a menu to close, and that gives the rest of it, I will select all and I can click done. So now I have that custom schedule for Sundays, well, for every other day. And the menu is set. Breakfast, lunch, and then the menu that's available. So with your menus organized, you go through and add items and menu groups here. You can edit your POS layout here, where you can see your drinks, your food, change colors, or even show your image. So this is how you edit your menu POS. To the right is your ordering profile as we're building it. We have our menus now. Then here is your edit menu. You can rearrange your menu groups, duplicate your menu, and delete your menu. Going back, this is your full menu window where you have your lunch, your breakfast, and your regular menu. You can rearrange them also. Save them, update, and you can also see them like this. Going back into your items. So this is your items. If you find there's a lot of updates that you want to make, the best course of action is to export and update it with either your items or a set of filters. So in my menu, I can go in, I can edit my details, and if I wanted to delete the menu group, I will only serve the hot drinks here for the regular menu. And I can add menu groups there that are in my categories. So that's how everything flows in between the menus. And none of the categories that have 0 items would be available in your menus or would be shown throughout anywhere in your square until items get added to it. So if you were to do an iced drink and add it in, then you will be able to have that iced drink in a category onto a menu. So if I come into items, create an item, and do a iced Americano, put the price in, put my description in. You can also generate descriptions using AI by clicking generate. I have my taxes, add my nutritional information, add my variations, create, save. I can add my modifiers. Because this is the ice one, I can add that. Prep time. Add it to my ice drinks. Then I have my locations, my ordering profile, and I will click save. So now I have my iced Americano as a ice drink for $2.50. When I go to my menu, now that I have a drink in my ice drinks, I can add a menu group. Now ice drinks, I can edit my POS. There's my iced Americano. I have my ice drinks. I can use that. I can use the image, and I can save. I also have an iced Americano as a button, and I can close. I have ice drinks. You have my iced Americano, small, medium. There's my extra shot options, my milk options, and my add-ons. Now, when adding new items and new categories, you will need to take your menu and create a new one using existing categories, or you will need to open up the menu that you want to use and add a menu group to it and pull in the items from that menu group. That is the only way to pull in that set after you've created the menu. But if you create a menu and then use your existing categories, it pulls it in just fine. So that is the way that that's the flow of how to put it in to make this as efficient as possible. You built your foundation, you built your menus, and today we will bring it full circle to your customers. By the end of this video, your online ordering profile will be live and your customers will be able to place orders from your cafe. You will be able to place your first order as a test to see how everything works from end to make sure there are no surprises later. If you have been here for day 1 and 2, then welcome back. If you are just landing here, my name is Jess and I am the founder of Non-Techie HQ. And this is the Startup Diaries for Cafes, where I am walking you through how to launch your food and beverage business on the Square platform. If you haven't built your menu in Square yet, today's video will make a lot more sense after you have done day 2 from the playlist in the description below. Each day has chapters in the description, so you could jump around and get what you need or follow step by step to complete your launch. Before we get into the steps, I want to go over something that some owners get confused over. What we are setting up today is your online ordering profile. That's the page where customers land to place an order. It's where they are able to look at your menu, choose how they want to receive your order, and check out. Almost like ordering through Grubhub, DoorDash, or Uber. This is not your website. Day 4 is your Square Online website. The full site with pages and about page and design that lead to your order page. The ordering profile and the website are both inside of Square, but they are two different things. What we are doing today gets you closer to taking orders without the overwhelm of building a full website, and is still branded within your tool and within your system. What we're doing in day 4 gets you a setup with a SEO advantage and more footing for building trust with your customers. So now let's get started. From our square dashboard, we will go to the left-hand side and we will go to online ordering. In our online ordering, we will have our main section here, and to our right, we will have our preview menu for what it will look like for our customers. So we will see a preview for our mobile, what it looks like for QR, and what it will look like for desktop ordering. You'll see we have a Cash App tag for our cash tag here. And then here we have our prep time up top, ordering toggle here, our settings, our menus, our pickup and delivery settings, QR code ordering, and our brand information. So first, we'll go up and we will set our prep time. Here, for our pickup, we can set it for 15 minutes, 30, 45 minutes, a custom prep time, or no prep time. Now, in our items, if there were certain times that needed for different items, those, if you set them in your items, they're already set. So these will be for other items. So if our drinks only take about 5 minutes and we set them in our items already, then those are set already. So these will be for our additional items. So if we want to set 15 minutes, instead of 15 minutes, it takes 30 minutes for items to be ready for pickup, then you will set that time here and we'll click save. Same for delivery. If you want it 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, you can set that here. Then for our ordering, you could toggle it on and off. We're going to leave it off for right now until we're done. Next, we'll go to settings. So we have our menu here where we can highlight the items that customers order most often here. We could toggle it on and we can toggle it off. By default, it is on. Then we can have our checkout here. We have our order tipping where we can configure tipping for our online orders. We have tip options for percentage and dollar tips, an amount of 15, 20, 25 with the default percentage 15. And we have dollar amount options here. We can click edit and here are our options where we can have them set. You can always also set to allocate tips to staff here, which will take you to your staff tip settings where you can set how your staff members will receive their tips. If you are on the free plan, it has it set for recipients keep tips. If you get on the paid plan, then you are able to do pool tips and declare cash tips that will allow you to pull and split tips according to who is working at that time. Back into our settings, we have the ability to let our customers leave notes here. We can toggle it on. It will add a text box to our checkouts. Then we have enhanced payment verification. This will require customers to provide extra security steps when payments seem suspicious. Then if they cannot put it in the zip code or the security code on the back of the card, then the payment is blocked to ensure that your business isn't hit with fraud or that you don't have any chargebacks or such in your business. So this helps protect you. Then the next section is taxes. So if you hit edit, this will take you to the sales taxes portion, which we set up on day 1. So we already have that sales tax set, which has it set for our delivery sales tax, our QR sales tax, and our pickup. So setting this up on day one allowed it to automatically set it for our states and for the pickup and delivery for where we are. So with our taxes set, with the service charge that we added on day one, that is added here, which if we click edit, it will go to our service charges back in our settings, and it is here. So if you wanted to remove that service charge or edit it here, you can come in and delete the service charge here or edit it here. And that would allow you to update this service charge. Then last is your store policies. So in your store policies here, you can put information relevant to your online ordering, to the policies for return items if there is something wrong with their order. If there is any relevant information can go here, they will be able to review. For your pickup and what happens when they pick up, that information will be added into another section, so you don't have to worry about putting it there. Then under order settings, we have locations. So we have limits. You can set order limits for the number of orders that can be picked up at the same time. So how many orders and pickups and deliveries can be set in a 15-minute window. So since you have the prep time of 15 minutes, if you get X amount of number of orders in an hour and it takes you 15 minutes to prep, how many orders do you want to receive and be able to do without getting overwhelmed? So that is your order limits here. So it will space out the pickup and delivery orders so that you are able to efficiently get orders out without getting overwhelmed and getting orders backed up. So this is a setting for you to set. Then here's your printing of your tickets. So you can print order tickets based on the pickup and delivery time, or you can print it when a order is placed. It will print based on the prep time that is required. And if you print the tickets when it's placed, it will print it with a future date and time if it's for in the order in the future. So then we will save our order settings there. So now we have our settings. We have our prep time set. We see here is our Cash App tag here. Then here are our menus that we set on day 2. So here, as before, we have our menus. We have our drinks that are set already. We have our food items. Go. Then the next window is our pickup and delivery. Here, first, we'll set up our pickup. So if you want to set up our pickup orders, we'll toggle on pickup. For your pickup, you set your prep time. How much time do you need to prepare an order for pickup? 15 minutes, 15, 20, 35 minutes. This is how much time you will need for an order. That includes multiple items. Some orders may have 1 cup of coffee. Some orders may have 4 cups of coffee, 7 cups of coffee. You don't know what you're going to get, but you want to have the prep time here, plus the setting here for your order limits will allow you to have an efficient order window to not get overwhelmed with placing those orders out for the pickup and for the delivery. So make sure you put an efficient time that you think getting at most 3 or 4 cups of coffee out or a food item. And as you start to get orders in, you'll start to see how much prep time, if you've put in enough time, if you need to extend that time or if you need to bring it back some. Next, you can require orders to be placed in advance, which you can do 1 day in advance to all the way down to 30 days in advance. Use location hours. You can also toggle off and have separate location hours for pickup hours. So this will allow you to cut off the time before you close and have time after you open instead of the exact time that you open and close. You can also add scheduled downtime, including breaks, maintenance days, or closures, such as holidays that you won't open for, or for one-off days that you will not be open for. You can also have them set to repeat yearly. So that will always be listed here. So the calendar would not be open for that specific day. Next is order rules. Show pickup time to customers. You can toggle that on. You can toggle it off. Allow order scheduling. You can allow customers to schedule orders ahead for the same day or future days between 1 and 90 days. There's a cutoff time setting that you can have. Orders placed after this time would be scheduled for the next available day. So if you close at 9, you can have it set for 8 p.m. That way you aren't having orders come in at 8:50, 8:59. You have minimum order amounts that you can have set for it to be eligible for pickup. Set an item or a price limit for ordering. The item limit, 100 items, or a price limit. If you want to not get a pickup order for 100 items, you can set that here. Or if you don't want to get 50 cups of coffee, if you have more of a catering menu that you want to have, then you can have that set. If you have a policy for larger orders to be placed a certain way, then you can have this set an item or a price limit here and put it in your policy that for 30, 40 items, we classify them as catering orders. And we take catering orders by phone, or we take catering orders via this. So that is how you can limit the set an item, the items per order that you receive. Then you have curbside pickup. Toggling on curbside pickup will allow you to have a customer call when they arrive, and you can also have them click a link and it lets you know at the POS that they have arrived for you to come out and bring them their order. Then here is the section for the pickup instructions for their orders. So once you have all of these set, you can click save, or you can go over to the delivery settings to your left, and we will toggle on accept delivery orders. So in our delivery preferences, we have 2 options. We have on-demand delivery, which you can have delivery partners accept and deliver orders for your Square orders. That includes through DoorDash and Uber and Grubhub. So you have an option of paying the full delivery fee, or you can have the customer pay the full delivery fee for their order. The other option is to have your staff deliver your delivery orders. You can have the delivery fee covered over a certain amount, such as $25 or $15. Then you have your delivery areas, which the edit is not working. Then the next section is delivery hours and timing. So the prep time here is the same as the prep time with the pickup. You want to have the time in minutes for how long you will need to prepare to have an order ready for delivery. Then the same for requiring orders in advance. If you will want to use the location hours or use a different schedule for delivery. If you want to schedule downtime. And then for order rules, you can charge a service fee on top of the delivery fee. Cutoff time, you can allow order scheduling, set a minimum order amount, and set item or price limits for your orders. So once you have this set, you'll click Save for the business name up top, and you'll see in Pickup and Delivery that these are both enabled now. Now I came out and I refreshed. So I came home, came here, and then came back to online ordering, and then went back into delivery and went to edit, and I was able to do the online delivery. So this is how you can set your radius for your delivery. So here is based on my address where it is. So I can click edit, and I can have a radius of from my cafe where I can deliver this order. And the radius goes in all directions. So of course, based on, you can have it set for however far you want it, but the delivery fee would be the amount that you will have to pay. And if I save, and when we do a test order, you'll be able to see what it would look like to have those delivery fees for a little further out of your borders and have it available. So that's your delivery area for your on-demand delivery. Then you have your staff delivery, which if we were to do staff delivery here, we have our on-demand delivery in this blue color. Then we have our staff delivery, which we could do a radius or we could do postal codes. So I can do 0. And then if I was to do 5. So you can have a delivery fee, or you can set a free delivery minimum here. So if their order minimum is $10, they can have free delivery if they live in the 5 miles, or if they live in the 50 miles. So I have my staff who will go within the green, and then you can utilize the on-demand delivery to go out past where you provide your own delivery. So you can have a no contact delivery where you can have orders dropped off to the doorstep or where your customer requests. The only orders that this does not work for is ones that include alcohol. You will need to have that handed off, and your delivery, it will need to scan the ID most times. And then the buyer will see a ETA for when they place an order for delivery. So you're able to see both the on-demand delivery and the free delivery here. And then if I wanted to add more areas, I could, like that. So I'll click save, and I'll save. So that's our pickup and our delivery. Then next is our QR code ordering. So if I click manage, the first one is our QR code, which will show our printable for just our QR code, and then a table QR code. So it's the for plan under our restaurant's account. So once our customers scan this, they're able to order and they will see the QR menu here. Then the last section is brand. So this will show how our customer sees us. So here, all of our brand items from our settings in day one are already here. So we have our name, we have our hashtag, our logo, and our colors are already in. And the only thing that we have left is our description. So what we can do is utilize AI such as Claude or ChatGPT to give us a optimized description of our business. Now, I have a optimized description, but of course, I am going to take from it and make it my own. Since I did give it the link to the cafe, it had access to my menu. So I can take the pieces that I would like to use and put it into the about page. So now that I have my about, I'll click save. And now I have an about to round out that online ordering. So now the last part is to turn on online ordering. So now here we have ordering on. Now you'll see in our preview, we're able to go through and look at how our order process is. There it is. So now what we're going to do is go over to our search bar and go to discounts. So that will open up our discounts under our items and services, and we will create a discount. So we will name it and we'll put 100% discount. Make sure it's at our location, and we'll save it. Remember your discount name. So now we'll go back to our online ordering and we're going to click here. So this is your online ordering page. You should see your menus. You see your active menu, which is the one that's available. If you see a clock here, that means it is not the one that's available. You see our breakfast menu isn't currently available for order, but our lunch menu is until 5 o'clock. So we could order a turkey sandwich and our espresso. So we do have our cup sizes. Here's our dietary information. We can add an extra shot. We can also add our milks and add to cart. Here's our cart up here. We'll click our items. We see we get a small with an extra shot, whole milk, items for pickup. We can also switch to delivery, add in a delivery address, and we can finish and pay. So we can enter our phone number. Here's our curbside. Add the vehicle description. That's how you'll be able to find your customer. Here's your payment. There's our tip. There's that coupon we want to put in. Okay, so we have Jess here. Oh, you took the $5 off here and the $3. So the only thing on here is the tip. So we can add a phone number. So we'll run a quick order, do a test order, and place order. So now we have that we're preparing the order. Order number 1, there's our location, pickup instructions. Here's the receipt. We have our 2 items here. Now we'll go back to our dashboard. So now here in our dashboard, let's go to home. And we see we have an order here. We have our dashboard here that has been updated. We have our transactions and our payments and invoices and in our orders. We now have a new order. Now in your POS, it will also show up that order is there. So here is our order. Here is what we have, and we have our timeline below, when it was created, when it was added, and we have the transaction details, and we can cancel a refund. We can mark it as in progress, ready, or picked up. so we can have it in progress, and our customer will see. Then our customer will see that we are preparing so that they're able to see. Then in our orders, we see it's in progress. Here in our timeline, we have that it's in progress. Then if we mark it as ready, we have it ready here, marked as prepared. Then for our customer, they see that it is ready for pickup. They're tracking, it also says it's ready for pickup here. They also get a text that it is ready for pickup. So now that is marked as ready. Then once they have picked up that order in the POS and here in your orders, you can mark it as picked up. So that will mark it completed, and you will no longer have any orders in your profile as in progress. So under active, there'll be none. Under scheduled, there'll be none. And completed, it will be listed. Then your customers will see that their order was picked up. So that is how to set up your online ordering profile. So with your online ordering profile now, you do list now on the Neighborhoods app for your business. So that gives you another avenue of your visibility for your business, and connecting that online ordering syncs with your Square menu. You'll have your online store. You can also connect your online ordering to your Google business profile and your Facebook, Instagram to start taking orders for your business. So the next portion of the series starts to focus on the Square Plus items, such as the Square Online, which is your website. Then we have the marketing and loyalty. You can also have your gift cards, and really taking advantage of those portions that paid plan starts to bring in, helping to automate some of that marketing. These were your foundational pieces that allows you to run your business, but now you will need to market your business without overwhelm and still allow your customers to place orders and have these essential pieces in. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, and if there's anything that you want to see in the next videos, please let me know in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up if this was helpful, and I hope to see you in day 4 for your Square Online website.